Okay, so I'm Amanda Nacarado, and I am the co-editor-in-chief of the print magazine.
Hi, my name is Tyler Young, and I am a showcase photographer for Emerge.
My name is Aruj Khan. I am the fact checker for Emerge print magazine.
David Logel, co-lead of Emerge Sports.
My name is Cheyenne Karimi, and I'm one of the heads for the Emerge Sports content.
My name's Stephen Beatty. I am a writer for the Emerge magazine, and I produced and hosted a podcast called On the Edge.
My name is Addison, and I am the copy chief for the Emerge magazines.
My name is Melissa Lopez Martinez. I'm a journalist, and I'm also the web magazine managing editor.
It basically stemmed from the fact that I'm addicted to TikTok. It's sad to say, but I am. And pretty much through scrolling on it, I found that like the Washington Post and the National Post were on TikTok. And I just thought it was really strange. I was like, why would news organizations have a TikTok, right? I think when you think of TikTok, you think of like hormonal teenagers. It kind of just stemmed from that curiosity, and then I ended up interviewing a editor from the National Post, and she coincidentally actually started the TikTok for the newspaper. And then I ended up getting someone from Blog.to, and he was like, yeah, really good. But I guess that was basically the inspiration behind it.
So mixing these two things that I was incredibly inspired by brought me to this realm of trying to push myself and my art and my creative prowess into pulling it together, of trying to bring photography and fine art together, which is something I've never done before.
So I'm one of those individuals who actually still buys physical copies of movies whenever something comes out that I'm a fan of. So I wanted to know from the aspect of, for example, Bay Street Video, which is the store that I interviewed, how their business is doing, and I wanted to learn more about where does the physical media, where is that industry headed? Will we still have physical media? And I thought it would be a great addition to Emerge.
I think that when writing the article, it gave us a cool look at a couple of alumni that had been here before and kind of had been successful in the field. So I wanted to share that story to all of Guelph-Humber, I guess.
I got inspiration from one of the articles that the HumberHawks.ca did, and I kind of built it off there and just kind of wanted to pay homage to one of the best varsity programs, like I said, across the country, and just talk about the whole defining moments that they had, what made it what it is today.
My inspiration for the self-driving car story was the theme of this year's magazine, which was the tipping point. And that's kind of how I ended up in this realm of technology.
Okay, well, who didn't grow up watching much music? And especially now with the changing media landscape, I think that we all can kind of see that much music isn't what it used to be. So I thought that would be kind of a cool approach to take the story and just kind of see how it evolved from the 1980s up until the 2010s.
I was really interested in what the reason behind these activists going out and really showing their support for something that they're so passionate about, because I feel like a lot of people really get caught up with social media as they're like, yeah, I'm gonna retweet this post, show my support, I think that should be enough. But they saw that as, no, it's not enough. I need to get out there, I need to use my voice, I really need to show for these events, show for these people. So I was really curious and interested as to what their motives were behind that.
When I kind of wrote the article, I angled it from the perspective of like, will it save journalism? It was kind of misleading a little, but I thought it was kind of a fun angle to take it from, because necessarily both people and both my sources, they think that it's probably not going to save it. But again, at least it's like introducing a younger audience to like traditional news media.
Going in, I really thought they would kind of start venting about, oh my god, our store is dying and we don't know what to do. But in fact, he gave me 2 hours worth of content of how they're doing so well and that they don't even have enough space anymore. They might need to relocate because their business is booming and they need more space for the products that they sell. So I was really happy by what he was telling me, because it made me feel better about the physical media industry and where it's headed, and it's not just gonna die.
I kind of learned, like, listening to them, they really are passionate about Canadian basketball, and they use their skills that they learned at Guelph-Humber pretty well. So it kind of sets an example for the future for media studies students like myself.
When you go into stuff in the past that's like events that I didn't know about, like before like I even came to Guelph-Humber or we were even enrolled here, just the meaningful events that happen to it, like coaches being named, like different program heads being named in, different titles being won across the board, and how like each one of them has its own value. So obviously, like, you know, winning national titles is probably the prestige one, the thing you're going for. but some of the records they sent were just in provincials, and even those meant a lot to the program and stuff.
I learned that autonomous driving, though very interesting and revolutionary, there is a lot of problems that come into play when you think about how you actually get them on the road. And it's dangerous, and the only way to actually get to a point where it's less dangerous is to take those risks.
I referenced a book called Is This Live? It was written by one of the first Much Music VJs, and that was very insightful to learn what was happening at Much Music in the 1980s. And then later on in the story, I kind of wrote about my own experiences and what I personally liked and how I was attracted to the station.
Climate change is not just an issue about the weather. It's Black Lives Matter, it's Indigenous rights, it's disability rights, it's so many things. So to me, I never realized that this was this huge Pandora's box that everybody's involved and everybody's affected. So I think that was really humbling for me, and something that I learned is you gotta broaden your horizon, you gotta be open to all of this and really try to understand another person's perspective. And the other challenge is telling their story as true and as authentic as possible.
With TikTok, yes, it's kind of the same thing where you're able to again reach a different audience, but specifically for a newspaper, which is kind of wild that they're able to kind of bring back a traditional media that everyone thought that was just gonna die, which arguably it is, but you never know, maybe TikTok can save it.
I'm in my 4th year of university. I'm about to graduate. This in itself is the climax of my university career. This in itself is a form of a tipping point. Take that into consideration, taking the way that we live our lives, and we put it in the personal perspective, in the macro, right? Memento Mori is about the way we live our lives. It's about the way that we choose to make decisions and the things that influence our day-to-day lives and how we decide to express ourselves and live our lives.
The story relates to the topic and the theme of the tipping point because we're talking about where the future is headed and what is the tipping point. One of the main aspects of that is the digital industry, and it is the tipping point and it is where we're headed. And so the physical media kind of take a pause and just step back and let's analyze what the past, the present, and where we're headed into the future, rather than just talking about the future and what we don't know yet.
It relates to the tipping point because it is a emerging technology, to literally put it bluntly. It's probably as direct of a theme or a topic you can get when it comes to the theme we chose. It's not really at all playing around it.
It relates to the tipping point because we have a past, present, future kind of theme. We have what has changed and what's a big defining moments, I guess, for where we reach to now in the media and stuff. So this article, it defines exactly where Humber was and kind of where it got to now and what were the big moments that changed it.
Climate activists, there's this one person that shows up to this one protest a few weeks ago, and then in the few months there's thousands of people. So I feel like all of these stories, they kind of relate to starting off with this one small little, I guess with the butterfly effect, it kind of starts off very small, but it has a huge impact.
The article relates to the tipping point because, even just within the article, you could see how that one change within the media landscape completely altered the way Canadians view music content, especially with the rise of the internet. We have YouTube now, we have similar platforms, so you don't really need to watch a television station waiting hours for your favorite music video to be played. So that's why we have YouTube. You can kind of get it on command now.